apprehensive of, and the writing on the wall I see is that this uniting white identity aspect, like, okay, we need to unite, like, oh, all Europeans need to unite. It's like, do you not know that there were 2 world wars where Europeans were fighting each other? It's like, this unity is not as real as they make it out to be. Like, European identity, it's like you can't even determine who's white and who's not. Italians are nothing like the Swedes, and Turkish people, they're in Europe, are they considered white? And even North and South Italy, they were always at war. They were always fighting. They hate each other. Spain and Germany. So if you're going to unite, inevitably, you're going to have an us versus them separation again, just like you pointed out. We're always going to need something to attack. So I'm wondering how long this is going to last and when they're going to realize, like, okay, actually, we're different. And actually, we're not going to be able to unite the way that we want to, because it's never been that way. It's never been European identity. That's never existed.
Well, you mean like in the United States, or
even in Europe? Like, where has that ever been, like, this unifying European identity? Like, what is white? What is that?
You mean like from Europe? What is white?
Europeans. Well, first off, even the idea of race is a very American idea. Is a very that created like post-slavery. But Europeans never had this, like, okay, we're all European, we're all the same. No, they were actually at war all the time for all of history.
Okay, so
and so now Americans,
you're coming from the angle that, like, why try to have European identity now when
it never existed?
When you guys didn't have it before.
Yeah.
I think
so. It's European immigrants in America that are trying to unite based off of their ancestry. But
I think it's more of a. I think their gripe is more along the lines of not so much like they use the European to kind of like have a foundation, but I think what it's more about is like keeping the United States a majority white country the way it was founded. I think that's maybe really the main.
I think a lot of it.
That's the main thing, which I understand.
That makes sense, but
like, because my thing is with that is, like, I've always said, like, you know, we don't go to Saudi Arabia or these Arab countries and say, all right, you guys need to accept more whites and blacks and Westerners and accept democracy. Mm-hmm. Like, you go there, you acclimate, you assimilate, you do how their country goes. Like, you observe Ramadan. It's hard for you to get food. You observe when they have the adhan. The women that are there a lot of times will cover their hair. They assimilate. But, like, for some odd reason, we go to other places and don't expect them to change, right? But, like, they come over here and say, oh, well, we want you to change for us, when it's like, well, we give you guys the dignity of, like, absorbing and assimilating to your culture. Why can't you do that here? I think that's more of their gripe.
And that makes sense. That all makes sense. This was always created as a white majority country. But when you listen to that Jubilee debate against, what's his name again? The guy, he did a great job.
Mehdi Hasan.
Would love to have him on my stream. They're saying, like, okay, we're a fascist. I want to be like Franco. I want a Catholic monarchy. I don't want Muslims in the government. I want Catholics only. No evangelicals. Mm-hmm. It's like, that was never an American idea. So
fascism?
No, it wasn't. These people are saying
they escaped the UK to get away from that. Actually,
which makes
what you're saying.
And see, they present themselves as we're nationalists, but they have ideas that were never American to begin with at all. They were escaping fascism, and we came here and established a democracy. This was always an immigrant country, but they're saying we want to turn this into a fascist dictatorship with a Catholic government. We want to uproot the Constitution and create something completely new. That's the most anti-American idea I've ever heard. It's like, do you not realize what we were fighting against, or the Americans fought against in World War II?
You're saying, like, we literally just came over here through trials and tribulations to get away from monarchy, and you want to
create it.
You want to create it,
and they present it using white identity and using Christian nationalism as the most American idea, but that's actually the most anti-American idea. Democracy is what makes America America, not fascism.
Yeah, I know the thing, because here's the thing, because, like, progressives like to use the term fascism all the time. Pejorative is a negative term. It's hilarious. I'll watch, like, a lib or like a Hassan or a Mehdi Hasan or any of these guys, or a Kyle Klinsky, and I literally count down how long it's going to take for them to say fascism. And I do think that fascism, hot take here, I do think that fascism has a lot of things right about it, right? Like, for example, the nationalism is really important, right? And if you look at, like, some of the most inspirational leaders that are able to lead their country pretty well and, like, create economic opportunities.
Talk about Hitler.
Like Top H or whatever. Yeah. They were fascists because they had such a strong nationalist perspective that they truly were Germany first, Italy first. And I do think adopting that perspective of this hardcore nationalism is good, despite the fact that liberals, like, oppose it. But liberals aren't nationalists a lot of times. Like, these are motherfuckers that aren't patriotic. They want to talk about democracy, all this other shit, but like they're not willing to, you know, raise an American flag and fight for a lot of the times. The people that, you know, will go and fight
No, they'll burn
for
the
country.
flag. Yeah,
they'll burn the flag.
yeah.
Exactly. So that's where I see your perspective, where it's like I can see the problems that you, because you're coming at it from like, look, fascism has some parts of it that's bad, but my thing is like, well, I see some good of it as well. Like the nationalist perspective is so powerful that we don't talk about anymore because people are so scared to use the term fascism and nationalism that we've pretty much like made it where don't be a nationalist. Don't fucking sit there and say fuck all these other countries. Like you have to be more sensitive to globalism and stuff like that. And the thing is like what I've realized, dude, is like no sole political ideology is perfect.
No,
A lot of them have different components, and it's almost like you have to bring them all together and create like a fucking Frankenstein of policies,
which is in a
to make things work.
Which is a democracy.
Yes, it's the closest.
So democracy works. So you in a way you're anti-fascist.
What's that?
You're anti. If you're saying that we need a democracy,
Again, that's why I said there's components.
That's true. Have you realized that like when people say something is anti-American, we're the only country that applies to? You can't say this is anti-Spanish or anti-German, because America is not it's not.
Said, why are you scared of Andrew Wilson, bro? He just
The reason that phrase exists is because of immigration. It's because America has an idea of democracy, of freedom of religion, freedom of speech. There's ideas here that transcend ethnicity, right? Because if you say something is anti-Spanish, that has a racial connotation. Anti-English, anti-German, anti-Chinese. This is the one place where immigration is important, where multiculturalism has always been a part of this country. So it's just ridiculous to me. I say this to say it's ridiculous to me when people are so against it because it's always been that way here, and it always will be. Yeah, let me ask you that. Do you believe in multiculturalism?
That's a good question. This it depends what the outcome is. What's the goal? Is it do you believe in multiculturalism when it comes to making a better society? Do you believe in multiculturalism when it comes to preventing crime? Because I think depending on what your goal is
in the American idea, in the American way.
Okay.
Like how I just explained, like the fact that this country was built upon immigrants. It's always been multicultural.
Okay.
Are you for that, or do you believe in one majority ethnicity, an ethno state, or do you think that multiculturalism needs to stop and immigration needs to be stopped completely?
I think multiculturalism needs to be controlled.
To what degree?
I think it definitely needs to be controlled.
You need legal immigration.
Okay, like right now, 2025, where we're at?
Yeah.
We need an immigration moratorium for 1 to 5 years.
No immigration.
No immigration for 1 to 5 years.
Okay.
Because right now, what's going on is we've been really we've been very lax with immigration law, and people have been able to kind of abuse the system for decades. And we need to basically right now, I look at it like the United States. We need to stop the bleeding, and the way to stop the bleeding is you need to put a tourniquet on, right, and tighten it up real tight to stop the blood loss. Then from there, we can go ahead and do real changes and try to save the person's life. But I think in order to fix any injury, you must put the tourniquet on and stop the bleeding first. And I think the immigration is the example of that, is the bleeding. Now, and the reason for that is because, just like if you get a cut, right, and it doesn't kill you, it doesn't make you stronger, but if you bleed too much, you die, right? I think when it comes to multiculturalism, it needs to definitely be regulated, because if you bring too much of it in, you lose your national identity. And I'll give you an example what I mean by this. Like if you look at like Toronto, Canada, right? Toronto, Canada is basically India now. It's not even recognizable anymore.
Yeah, I'm totally against the H-1B visas.
Yeah.
But
that's multiculturalism, right? So
but that's forced immigration that they're using. What did you say? Like the Jews use Indians as a bioweapon? Like that, you can understand the argument for that. But the idea of multiculturalism, like living in Miami.
But that's precisely what I mean. Is like multiculturalism, and that's because there's so many different things of it. That's why I was trying to get like a more specific question from you of like multiculturalism affect being good or bad in what way? Like I think in general, like it needs to be. The bottom line is it needs to be limited. It needs to be limited. I think it can definitely be a force for good in some instances, but I definitely think it needs to be limited significantly more than the way that we have it.
Okay, but do you like multiculturalism?
In limited quantities, yes.
What is limited? Because you're in Miami. It's one of the most diverse cities in the world.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. Like Little Haiti, for example, trash. Like
but you're saying, you do live in Miami.
That's an example of like multiculturalism being bad, right? Like that area Even Little Havana, trash, sucks.
Well,
High crime.
I mean, I don't know if
terrible.
that's not really
That is multiculturalism.
Yeah, I know, but those neighborhoods alone don't even have much diversity. It's like all Haitians and then all Cubans.
But that is a byproduct of multiculturalism.
No, I mean that's I mean like a place like Brickell, for example, is a better example of multiculturalism, or downtown Manhattan.
But the reality. Okay, I see your perspective. Like, so Brickell, right? There's multiculturalism here, but that gets erased via class. Right? Like we know that crime and bullshit typically is tied directly to income. So like the multiculturalism doesn't have the same harmful negative effects here as much because they have money and it's a class issue.
So it seems like you're okay with multiculturalism, you just don't want to be around poor people.
Hence why it needs to be limited. That's why I said it needs to be limited.
Okay.
We need the best and the brightest for real. I mean that. Like we need only the best and brightest if we're going to go ahead and do multiculturalism. Okay. Here's the problem with multiculturalism. You bring it in, let's say you bring in 100 people. Right, from a foreign country like wherever.
Haiti. Let's use Haiti.
Okay,
I could feel you were thinking.
Let's use Haiti. Niggas about to get mad in the fucking thing, but oh well. Right? Oh, you didn't hear the sound effect.
No, I heard it. I heard it.
So you bring in 100 Haitians, right? Maybe 5 or 10 of them are gonna become scientists, successful, contributing members of society. The other 90 are going to eat the cats and dogs. No, I'm just kidding. But the other, and this is just Haiti. I'm using them as an example, but this is with a lot of immigrant groups.
Yeah.
A lot of them are going to be degens. A lot of them are going to abuse the system. A lot of them are going to rely upon social aid. A lot of them aren't going to make themselves. So we basically brought in 100 people to get 10 good ones when we could have just supported the people that are here.
No, that's, I guess my question is more philosophical now, because I agree completely. But like, do you want to live in a neighborhood that's one race?
If it's whites, yeah, I'll be honest.
But they don't
Keep
want
it all the way at 1,000.
But they don't want you.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you something about white people.
Like if that neighborhood would not allow you in. So
no, they would. Let me tell you something about white people. Being around them. I've studied these niggas. Here's the thing with white people.
Okay.
Pattern recognition is real.
Okay.
Okay? Everyone is racist. Everybody, including myself. If you come in and you don't talk like a fucking moron, you're not a gangbanger, you dress properly, speak proper English,
yeah,
you will immediately get put in the from monkey zone, okay, to real nigga zone. Okay? So the thing is with them is like, because let's be honest here, bro, the stereotypes are rooted in reality. So most black people that come around are crass, rude, obese, criminals. Like,
so why don't you live in
push a culture that's fucked up. But if you come in and you're not like that,
yeah,
they don't see skin color anymore.
I understand. So why do you live here and not in a majority white neighborhood now? You have the money and the resources.
No, there's a lot of white people here.
This is not even close to a majority white place
compared
at all.
to other places in
this area of Miami's got to be like 20% white. That's a minority.
But again, class fixes everything.
Okay, but you're saying that
we got the elite of
But you just said you want to live in a majority white neighborhood. Why don't you live in that?
Well, Miami's an exception. Anywhere else in the United States, bro, there's no city like Miami. In the United States. And remember, this is a small part of Miami.
No city like Miami, like what? What about it?
There's no city in Miami where we have this much Latinos from South America.
Okay.
And remember, Brickell is a small part of Miami. The rest of Miami is like a fucking dump.
So why do you choose to live here and not the majority white neighborhood? Like you just said you wanted to.
Why do I choose to live here?
You just said you want to live in a majority white neighborhood.
Yeah. So if I had to, okay. We got to parse this out, I guess. Right now, where I'm in life, right? I don't have a family, whatever. Being in a...
Okay, you want to raise kids in that neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. Right. There you go. That's why, like me being here as a single guy, right? In the city, whatever.
You're single?
In the best... Bro, another conversation. So, not married is what I mean.
Okay.
So, being in an area like this, right, is where you wanna be, right? If you don't have a family, because the high cost of living drowns out the fucking scumbags regardless of their race. But if I want to raise a family, let's be honest, the best school districts, the best neighborhoods, etc., are white dominated.
So you're okay with your kids growing up as the only minorities in a white dominated?
100%. Yeah.
You want an entire school of all whites, and then say your son and your daughter, the two black kids or Arab whatever kids in the school.
Yeah.
The only people that look like them. That's what you want. That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't because that's the reality. So look,
What do you mean that's the reality?
Okay, so if you go to a good school or you get into a job, right, that's high paying a lot of times,
Yeah.
you're going to be, if you're a minority, you are going to be the minority. Hence why the term minority. So like,
But they're growing up in an environment where they're the only people that look like them.
yeah, I think that's fine.
Do you think that
I would, okay, I see what you're saying here. I would trade off them being in a superior school system with safety while feeling ostracized than putting them in a school system where there's more people that look like them, but getting inferior benefit of the schooling system.
Where do you plan to raise a family? Do you know?
I didn't think about that far ahead.
All right, that's fine.
But if I did, it would be a majority white area. Like that's just how it is, or Asians or whatever. But 9 out of 10 times it's going to be majority white followed by Asians, and then drops off from there. You know, like even Ivy League schools right now are, you know, the Ivy League schools are, you know, Asian now, where it's like they're trying to bring less of them.
Yeah, because they're just killing us.
They're just killing it.
We're killing you guys in the SAT scores. We're just dominating, and so you got to reduce the, what's the word? Not the DEI, the DEI for schools. I forgot the word, but that's what happens.
And also, bro, like Miami's kind of an anomaly, this area in particular, like where it's like, it's diverse, but it doesn't have to deal with the problems that multiculturalism normally brings because the income is high. Remember, a lot of people that are here that aren't white, they're rich in their home country.
I was asking to dissect the problem. It seems like the issue is not with multiculturalism, but just being around poor people. So there's lots of great neighborhoods and great cities still here. People like to demonize New York City so much, but if you live in downtown Manhattan, where this has been incredible. Like it finally recovered post-COVID, and there's multiculturalism everywhere. You get better food, you get better conversations, you get more interesting people, you get, you know, better perspective on life. Like right in New York, you can get a bit of everything all in one place. And so it seems like a lot of people on the right are really against multiculturalism.
Okay, so here's the thing.
That's what makes America great.
To live in that area
takes a lot of money.
With a family, you need a fuck ton of money.
You could do it.
No, of course you can. Of course you can. But like, okay, so let me ask you this. You live in that area. You making $1 million a year, right? And you got your kids in the best schools in the area, blah, 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 right? Cool. But if you took that $1 million and you went to Texas, you'd be able to get way more for less. And like, being honest here, like even the top end of income earners in the United States are making $400 to $500K a year. That's still not enough to raise a family in Manhattan and give and be able to live in a place that's culturally diverse without dealing with the culturally diverse problems.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like cultural diversity, in my eyes, is only acceptable when class is accounted for. Because class fixes most problems.
I agree.
But if you're gonna have multiculturalism, untapped, the majority of it is gonna be poverty, immigrants, etc., and that brings inherent problems.
Yeah, which I agree. But I hear a lot from these people. You can see them in the chat. They'll say things like, "I want to live around people that only look like me. I don't want to see other people. I don't want to."
That's your perspective.
And it's like I don't even understand why. Like, what is so great about, you know, a single Why do you phrase it like that? Because you're just missing out on so much. And I'm just surprised that people don't see the benefits of multiculturalism at all. Yeah.
No, I think, like I said, and you're asking some really good questions. I really appreciate that you got my, every time I have a discussion with you, you actually force me to think.
Nice.
But yeah, multiculturalism, I think, is and I see your perspective. Hey, these people don't want you around. What I've come to realize being around so many white people, right? Once you get past the stereotypes, they don't give a fuck what your skin color is. But you have to prove you're not a fucking scumbag first. Which people might say, "Oh, Myron, that's so fucked up."
It's an application process.
But it's like, it's the truth, bro. Like, we all have our stereotypes, right? Like, you meet an Asian dude, you're gonna assume that they're good at math. You're gonna meet a white dude, you're gonna assume that their chicken isn't fucking seasoned. You meet a black chick, you're gonna assume that she's gonna be loud. Like, but when Shaniqua opens her mouth, you thought she was a Shaniqua, but she's really a Jennifer. And she speaks proper English. She's in shape. She wears her real hair. You're like, oh, wow, okay. She's not what I thought. And then that has a profound effect on changing their mind. And then they will instantly get away from looking at skin color. At first, of course, human beings are creatures of judging a book by its cover because we don't have time to get to know everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But that first 5 to 10 seconds is crucial. You come in, shake your hand, speak proper English. Oh, this guy's not one of those normal black guys. He's not really black. He's not really black. right? And when they say he's not really black, they're not saying you're not really.
We know what they mean.
They mean as in you're not really a nigga.
Yeah.
So I'm totally okay with having to prove myself. Now, the problem here, and this, I know, it sounds fucked up, but here's the problem. Let's have the real uncomfortable race conversation here.
Okay.
I have no problem with proving myself because I understand that stereotypes are real. I understand I have the skin color of people that typically commit crime. I understand that I have a look that if you're walking at midnight and you see me with a fucking hoodie on, you might think I'm going to rob you. I understand that because pattern recognition is what it is. It's a human trait, right? But what these pro-black retards, like Tariq Nasheed and all these other pro-black niggas, they want you to just give them the benefit of the doubt. We're never criminals.
That's a stupid way to think.
Thank you. And it's not real. This is why I have such a problem with these pro-black niggas, because they want everyone to stop exercising their human nature of inherently being racist to a degree, right? And they want you to stop looking at pattern recognition. They want you to stop judging a book by its cover. And I'm here to tell you, dumbass niggas, it's never gonna happen. And here's the part that makes it even more pernicious.
Okay.
Why these guys piss me off. They want you to give them the benefit of the doubt and not make stereotypes when you meet them. But when they meet you, they're going to exercise this very fucking racism. They're mad at you for putting on them. Does that make sense? So in other words, they want you to give them benefit of the doubt every single time. But they reserve the right to be racist to you with no fucking consequence. I'll give you an example real quick. You walk up to the white dude walks up to a black guy. Hey, what's up, my brother? They might get offended. Why'd you approach me like that? Well, what the fuck? Like, you know, how dare you? That's racist. A lot of them will make us think about that, bro. They'll immediately like, why'd you come at me like that? These pro-black guys are fucking losers. Insufferable, right? But they'll go ahead and go up to the white guy and make an off-cuff joke immediately. Hey, nice to meet you. Tom, you can't dance, can you? Or, are you going to season the chicken? And they expect them to just laugh. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just saying that you have to prove yourself to white people. It sounds like every American politician having to prove themselves to Jews right now by, you know, kissing the wall and putting on the yarmulke.
People are going to interpret that, but like the reality is like when people meet me, they're going to assume the worst off rip. I'm just being a race
understand
realist.
why they have that stereotype.
And I understand why they have that. I am a very rare. I am a race realist. I'm a race realist that's colored, which is rare, because everyone else, like in the black community, wants niggas to just like accept them how they come, and not have to. And the reality is, when you meet anybody, guys, they're gonna assume something. It's not just proving yourself to white people. Everyone you meet, you have to prove yourself. Everybody. Asians are the same thing.
I know, too much.
You walk into a liquor store, bro. In their mind,
you steal from my store.
Yeah.
Get out my store.
This is just a white thing. Let's apply it, bro. I go into a fucking liquor store. You know, she's thinking of menace in society. Hurry up and buy. Right? You go in a fucking smoke shop, fucking Pajit. You know? Thank you, don't come again. Like, bro, like every race is gonna have their preconceived notions. It's not about proving yourself to white people, it's about proving yourself to everybody. I just use the white people as an example. Yeah. But niggas are the only ones that get mad about this concept and want everybody to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's only black people that do this.
No, black people have a unique entitlement in this country.
Yes, because of slavery.
Because of the victim mindset that's been instilled, that they can act any certain way, and it's time to get past that.
Yes, and this is why they hate me, bro.
It was the source of the George
Floyd
looting.
They hate you too for that, actually.
Not as much as you, but they come up to me and sometimes like, I don't like how you said nigga. I'm like, I'm black. They're like, damn, where you from though? I'm like, well, my dad's from Haiti. Damn. You know, it's just they fall back on this. Like, you're going to call me a racist because I said a word. I said a no-no word. Grown man telling another grown man what words to use. That's why George Floyd looting happened, because people think that they can act any certain way because of slavery, because of that police are the KKK, so they're going to rob the Gucci stores in the name of George Floyd. Yeah, and they perpetuate the stereotypes that they've been fighting so long to fucking stop. It's like, okay, they're saying that black people are monkeys and they steal and they're acting and they commit crimes. Yeah. And then George Floyd happens and then you do that. Yeah. Like, bro, I literally make fun of them. I'm like, they're like, I'm like, black people are violent criminals and need to chill out. Like, this is not good culture. Say that to my face, nigga. Yeah. Yeah. Bro, this is why I'm ashamed to share the same skin color as you niggas sometimes, bro. Oh. Because I'm one of the few people that calls you guys fucking stupid. Because they are. It takes high IQ, bro, to be able to
look at a problem, remove yourself from said problem, and analyze the problem as such, and then give a diagnosis that may or may not benefit you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm Muslim, right? But we both are.
Alhamdulillah.
I understand. But I'm able to sit here and say, look, Sharia law isn't compatible with democracy. I'm sorry. Though it doesn't benefit me to say that. Right? I should be saying, no, Sharia law is totally compatible with the democracy. I'm Muslim. We can make it work.
Is it the lack of freedom of speech?
Yeah, like a lot of democratic values are simply not.
Yeah.
Free speech, women's rights, you know.
Yeah, I know, but
equality, egalitarianism.
So is
like these are all things that the Sharia law rejects.
Saying that they want a Christian nationalist country, so they have to create Christian law. If you create, because there is no Sharia law, there literally is no Christian law.
Yeah.
What, the 10 Commandments? Thou shalt not kill and steal?
Yeah.
What about everything else? How do you govern a people? Sharia law outlines how to govern, how to organize, how much you get taxed.
This isn't me saying compare. I'm just saying that, like, I'm giving an example where, like, I'm able to remove myself from a situation. So, like, though I am Muslim and I literally should be sitting here saying, yeah, Sharia law is great, blah, 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 I acknowledge the fact that it's simply not compatible with a Western democracy, even though it hurts me to say that. A lot of people aren't able.
That's true.
A lot of people, here's the thing, that this is actually a sign of somebody that's low IQ. If you can't give the proper diagnosis because it affects you negatively, in my eyes,
redacted.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if someone is like, okay, I'll give you an example. I'm a black dude. I'm a higher earner, right? I make $500K a year, some shit. I'm gonna stay in the hood. I'm going to Crenshaw. I'm gonna stay here and put my kids here.
And you get shot. Yeah.
That is you being too proud, and you're stupid, and you are doing something to kind of appease your own ego.
When Jay-Z said that, it's like you're to show allegiance to a block that you don't even own a house on.
There you go.
You rent it from the Jews.
Exactly.
So why are you like 63rd? You don't have property here.
That's what.
You have no roots.
That's precisely my point. But and it's because their ego invested in their argument or their worldview that they will put themselves in precarious situations instead of just accepting the truth.
10 toes down and be a real nigga.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you get shot and go. Stupid. There's 50 from Clyde who said, "Hey."